My name is MOJO from MOJO and the Bayou Gypsies. My group has been performing for 31 years, all original material, all over the world.
And how many artists and what kinds of music do you all perform?
MOJO and the Bayou Gypsies perform mainly all original music in the Louisiana tradition. We come out of the Zydeco and Cajun and New Orleans tradition, but our music is all original, so we are different from everyone. We have the elements and flavors that are recognizable, the feel that is very comfortable and recognizable, but it's all original music, stories from my own life.
When you come to these conferences, are you self-represented as a group, or do you have an agent representing you?
We've been coming to these conferences for decades. Primarily as self-represented independent artists. We do have a couple relationships with some agents who do some new business development for us and who do some sales for us. But primarily, we are considered self-represented artists at almost all of these conferences.
And so, do you have a booth, and do you staff your own booth?
Every year, we purchase a booth at regional conferences and at APAP in New York. So being at PAE is part of our business strategy. We are always populated in the booth by either our representatives or myself. Primarily, I'm in the booth, and I have that as a working rule that I follow because my goal is to bond with the presenters and the audiences. So I want to know where I'm going and who I'm going to be working with, and that's why I'm always in the booth at a conference such as this.
Do you showcase at conferences?
When we come to conferences like PAE, yes, we often showcase, almost always. Occasionally we do not. It's always based on the production realities we have to face in the venue that's chosen by the conferences. That's out of our control. But we do have to evaluate the feasibility and the risks associated with producing a showcase. All our showcases are self-produced because that way I have the ability to help others. They can participate with me, and I can create an environment within which they can be mentored and nurtured. And many of the people, including people that I'm speaking with now, have actually at one time showcased in my room and then become presenters of showcases and producers of showcases on their own. I find it extremely valuable because a lot of presenters, even though we're very well known worldwide, still they like to come and experience the product before they purchase it.
And what do you do before you come to the conference to prepare for it, to maximize the benefits of having come? How do you prepare? What do you do before you get here?
Let me share with you how one prepares to do a conference like this. I have been preparing for this conference since 1963. It's a lifetime of preparation. You learn, you gain, you experience, you learn what to do, what not to do. So my preparation for this particular conference that we are speaking about today is based on my experience in the industry, my career, and how I understand this particular conference to function, who's going to be there, who the market is going to be, who the buyers are going to be, who are my colleagues that are going to be there. I have distilled what I do to a certain small set of tasks that are critical. I always believe in the 80-20 rule. 80% of what you do is not as valuable as 20% of what you do, and that 20% may be the highest return on investment. So for myself, on a conference like this, I will prepare new banners for the booth that represent the show as it exists today. I will prepare postcards that are full press kits, color on the front, black and white on the back, that have press quotes, that have photos from the shows, that have contact information, everything one would need to walk away holding in their hand to be able to make a decision to book our show. The whole point of a conference like this for an artist like myself is sales, is booking the show. So all my preparation is based on building tools that will help me to sell the show.
Anything else you actively do to generate your sales while you're at the conference? Obviously, they come and visit you at the booth, but outside of your booth time, you engage in other activities, do other things, hand out any material to promote getting people to the booth and hopefully generating more sales.
A lot of people think that all of the business activity takes place in the booth. That's not true. One is building relationships for a lifetime in your career, and that is part of what one does in preparation and in the process of the sales cycle. Myself, a month before I arrive, I begin a conversation through email communications with the people who are coming and with the people who have been here during the last 20 years. So I have an extensive list of people that I communicate with, about 1,000 people to 2,000 people for each event, each conference like this, people I've known for years. So an email conversation begins a month ahead of time. It's reinforced between 1 and 2 weeks prior to the actual conference. I no longer do any physical mailing of any kind because the return on investment is very low. The return on investment on electronic and digital investment is very high. In the process of making my communications, I also am following who's actually interacting with me, who's actually clicking on my emails, who's actually paying attention, who's answering me, who's watching what videos. These are important things because they tell you of your friends and colleagues you will meet who are your potential buyers. They tell you what they're interested in. Some are looking at my singer-songwriter performances where I go out with just an accompanist and talk about my career and sing a few songs that are the most famous songs. Others are interested in our show coming and making a lifetime impact on an entire community with 5,000 people in the theater. So being forearmed comes from forework. You know, working before helps you to understand what kind of commercial battles you're going to be in when you arrive. In addition to that, at a conference like this, we have many opportunities to interact, network, mingle with our colleagues in social events, in the meals, in the conversations, in the breakfasts, in the social hours after work, and on personal time. My relationships are almost familial. This is my family. I spent 20 of my last 22 birthdays with the people that are here at these conferences. You know, I spend more time with people in our industry than I do with my own children. It's a hazard of the business, but it's also a benefit and a treasure in the business. We all live together, we raise our families together, we live and die together. We're friends for a lifetime. The strongest strategic advice I can give you to prepare for a conference like this is live your career well. Every relationship you make, even if it's a simple acquaintance at a cocktail party, intend that relationship to be forever, and you'll never make a mistake. You'll know what to do, and you'll know how to serve your colleagues so their lives and their careers improve as well. That's the whole point. Everybody has to win in the entertainment industry.
And once you get home, any particular things that would be real important for someone new at this to make sure they take care of once they're home?
Once you get home from a conference like this, there are a lot of things you need to do. The first is you need to take care of yourself. Because if you've done it right, you're going to be totally exhausted. You will be mentally drained. You will be physically drained. You will be emotionally drained. You're going to have sore parts of every inch of your body. It's just how it is. If you've done it right, you're going to be worn out. And, you know, I'm 26 years old. I got people younger than me that can't hang with me, but I've been doing it forever. I approach this as an athletic adventure. Once you regain yourself, I spend my time sitting on my back porch looking at the horses and living a very good life, but at the same time my mind has to work and your mind has to work. Your mind has to work on continuing the conversation. Your mind has to continue the communication. And if you are a self-represented artist, you must focus on closing business because that's the end goal that keeps the machine running. It's very nice to come here socially. I mean, it's a $5,000 vacation, but I prefer to turn it into a $5,000 business investment. I always tell young people in particular, new colleagues in particular, the performing arts industry is 99% industry and business. It's 1% performing arts. There are surprises around every corner. You cannot prepare fully, but you can prepare well. So the perils and pitfalls of the entertainment industry are enormous. But if you pay attention, you learn from your colleagues, you give to your colleagues, you create that community and relationship, you will do well. Your art will prosper, and our art lives far longer than we do.